Dear student, myself Rajendra Asiri. I am Assistant Professor in Computer Science Department at Government Bangat PG College, Didwana. In the previous lecture, we started a lecture series on database and management system. In this lecture series, up to this point, we discussed various concepts on database, relational schema, instances, relational algebra expression, various levels of abstraction, and in relational algebra, we discussed about sigma, that is select operation, pi, that is project operation, union operation, intersection operation, set difference operation, and division operation. After that, we started a concept series on SQL, that is structured query language. In SQL, we discussed about DDL, that is data definition language. In that DDL, we discussed how to create a table, how to modify an existing table with help of drop and alter table attribute or drop and alter table commands. Now in today's lecture, we will be focusing some new concept. First concept is built-in data type in SQL. So what do you mean by built-in? Built-in means which are predefined data type. Means from user, those data type are no need to define. Okay, so that are built-in data type like date. So dates containing a 4 digit means year, month and date. Like the format is date command. After that we need to write down the year. Suppose here in this example 2005 is the year, hyphen 7 is the month, hyphen 27 is the day. Similarly, second is time. Time of day in hours, minutes and second. Suppose example, first we need to write down hours, after that minutes and then second. Suppose want to dictate the time 9:30, 9 hours and 30 second. Okay, then how to write down this? 09 is for hours, 00 is for minutes and 30 for second, right? And all these things need to write down in single upper quote. Similarly, one more time is written here. We can write down in fraction also, like 09 is for hours, 00 is for minutes and 30.75 is for second. Okay, now timestamp. Date plus time of day is called as timestamp. Means at particular date, at particular time is called as timestamp. Like example, if we combine date and time in a single value, then this is called as timestamp. Like in previous example, date and time was 9:00:30. If we combine both, then it will be timestamp command in single upper quote 2005 year hyphen 7 month hyphen 27 day or particular date. After that space 09 for the hours, 00 for minute and 30.75 is for second. Next is interval. Interval is basically a period of time. Like if we are saying interval of 1 day, so if we subtract a date, time or time stamp value from another given time, date or time stamp, then it will give an interval value. Interval means just difference between two values of date, two values of time or two values of time stamp, right? Interval values can be added to date, time or timestamp value. We can add interval value to a particular date, particular time or timestamp in order to get the new value, right? Next is user defined data type. User defined data type, as the name implies, are defined by the users. So here we are using some new command. The command name is create type. Create type construct in SQL creates user defined data type. Like if you want to create a particular data type of a numeric type, then how to write down create type space name of the data type, that is dollars, as numeric. Name is dollars, but the data type is we are defining as numeric, and the value and the precision is 12 comma 2, and then after that final. Okay, similarly we can create domain construct in SQL 92 which create user defined domain type. Like create domain space person name space care 20 not null. Types and domains are similar. Domains can have constraints such as not null and which are specified on them, right? So what is the basic difference in built-in data type and user-defined data? Built-in data type are predefined and system will understand automatically about the built-in data type, but in user-defined data type there is a full role of user and user need to define each and everything manually, right? Now domain constraint. What do you mean by domain constraint? So first thing you should know that what is domain and what is constraint. So constraint is basically some condition, some restriction which we are putting on some attribute. And domain is, suppose I am saying customer name, customer city and customer ID. These are three column or three attribute in a table or in a relation named as customer. In customer table there are three attribute. Suppose in particular attribute, suppose customer name, there are five possible customers. So all possible values corresponding to a attribute or column is called as domain of that particular attribute. Okay. Now domain constraint means the constraint or the condition or the restriction which are applicable to values of a particular attribute is called as domain constraint. So now we are going in detail. Domain constraints are the most elementary form of integrity constraint. They test values inserted in the database and test queries to ensure that the comparison makes sense, right? New domains can be created from existing data type. Like suppose we want to create a domain of specific type, then how to write down? Create domain is command, dollars is name given and numeric data type in bracket 12 and 2 are the parameter. Similarly, next one is create domain pounds numeric and in bracket we are writing 12 and 2 parameter. Now we cannot assign or compare a value of type dollars to a value of type pounds. Okay, comparison cannot be done or assignment cannot be done. However, we can convert type as below. We can convert one type into another. How? Cast, with the help of cast and as command. So how to write down? Cast relation name r dot a as pounds should not multiply by the dollar to pound conversion rate. It is not multiplication, just we are converting the rate from one attribute to another. Now large object data type. Large objects like photos, videos, CAD file, etc. are stored as large object. Blob, blob is called as binary large object. These are the object with a large collection of uninterpreted binary data whose interpretation is left to an application outside of the database system. Okay, so blob is basically binary large object and it is an object which is large collection of uninterpreted binary data whose interpretation is left to an application outside of the database system. Similarly, CLOB means full form is character large object. It is an object with a large collection of character data. So when a query returns a large object, a pointer is returned rather than the large object itself. Very important point. So whenever we are saying that a query is returning a large object, it means a pointer is returned rather than the large object itself. So we can say that the objects are dealt with the pointers. Okay, and whenever we are saying that a particular query is returning a object, it doesn't mean that that particular object is returned. They are returning with the pointer to the object. Now next is integrity constraint. Integrity constraint guard against accidental damage to the database by ensuring that authorized changes to the database do not result in a loss of data consistency, right? So if we are saying that integrity constraint, then they will guard against accidental damage to the database by ensuring that authorized changes to the database do not result in a loss of data consistency. Like a checking account must have a balance greater than, if we are saying $10,000, it means these are the minimum constraint we need to satisfy. A salary of a bank employee must be at least $4 an hour. So this is also an constraint. A customer must have a non-null phone number. It is also an integrity constraint. So integrity constraint basically guard against accidental damage to the database. Means suppose we are saying that attribute is present in more than one table, means in two table the same attribute is present, and the values corresponding to attribute or domain values are changed in one table but not changed at the same time in the another table, then it will violate the integrity constraint. Okay, so we need to ensure that authorized changes to the database do not result in a loss of data consistency. We need to ensure, right? Next is check clause. Check of P where P is predicate a condition. Suppose example, declare branch name as the primary key for the branch and ensure that the value of assets are non-negative. So we are just creating a table named as branch. In this branch table, branch name, branch city, asset are the attributes, right? So how to create a table? With help create command or create table. Table name is branch. In the bracket we need to write down all the attribute with their data type. The first attribute is branch name space. The data type is char in bracket 15. Second, branch city attribute name space char in bracket 30. Third is assets space integer is the data type. Next is primary key. In primary key we are writing branch name. So branch name attribute we are taking it as a primary key. Next one is check. Check will just as the name implies, it will check on assets attribute and that should be greater than equal to 0 as per this particular check constraint, right? Then only the query will be satisfied. Next is referential integrity. It will ensure that a value that appears in one relation for a given set of attribute also appears for a certain set of attribute in another relation. Okay, foreign key type of concept is called as referential integrity. Example, if Paris is a branch name appearing in one of the tuples in account relation, then there exists a tuple in branch relation for branch Paris. Okay, so means we are saying that if we are changing in foreign key, then definitely primary key should also automatically, or first primary key should be updated, then only foreign key should be updated, right? So primary and candidate key and foreign keys can be specified as part of SQL create table statement. Okay, means in create table we can specify primary key, foreign key as well as candidate key. The primary key clause list attribute that comprise the primary key. Unique key clause list attribute that comprise a candidate key. And next is foreign key. It foreign key clause list the attribute that comprise the foreign key and the name of the relation referenced by the foreign key, right? By default, a foreign key references the primary key attribute of the reference table. Yes. Now referential integrity constraint in SQL. Some examples are written here. See, first example, uh, create table, customer is the relation name. In this customer name is having attribute, first attribute customer name, cat 20 is the data type. Customer street, cat 30 data type. Customer city, cat 30 is the data type. So three attributes are there and customer name is taken as primary key. So primary key we are writing constraint and in bracket we are writing customer name. So customer name will become the primary key. Okay, first example is clear. Second example, suppose we are writing create table and table name is account. In this account table, account number is first attribute, cat 30 is the data type. Branch name, second attribute, cat 15 the data type. Balance, third attribute, data type is integer. Primary key is account number and foreign key if you see is the branch name. Foreign key is branch name. It means this branch name is the attribute primary key of some another table. If you see this example, branch table example, in this branch primary key is what? Branch name. So the main table is branch. Branch is the reference relation. That's why here we have written reference is branch. So the prime table name is branch. From branch table we extract the attribute branch name. Okay, so branch name is the primary key of the branch table, which is foreign key in this relation account. Okay, next is depositor relation. In depositor relation also foreign key is there, that is account number, and account number is primary key. Account number is primary key of account table. If you see account number, so from this we are getting, account is referenced. If you see foreign key, account number is referenced from account table, right? And similarly customer name is primary key of the customer table, which is referenced here. So in depositor table there are two foreign key. First is account number taken from account relation, and second is customer name taken from customer relation. So in this manner we can just put the integrity constraint in SQL. That's all in this lecture. In the upcoming lecture, some new concept about database and management system and SQL. Thank you.